Hi, this is Frank Simon with the rest of the news. Our special guest today is Lee Watts. Thank you for being here, Lee.
Thank you, Dr. Simon. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Now, you're the missionary to the state government?
Well, that's right. I serve as a chaplain up there. This is now my 10th year. Serve as chaplain.
Has it been that long?
The guy before me did it for 28 years.
Yeah, Brother Adams.
Right.
This past Monday, we had a rally to build the wall. And we want to just show you a few seconds of that.
This morning I told McConnell they need to build a wall around California to keep them in.
I'll say he's true on that. You almost need a passport to go over there.
Really?
It's crazy.
We're going to try to do this again this coming Monday.
Great.
Here's what the signs look like. Honk for the wall. And then here's another one. Build the wall. Okay. So we feel that's important for national security.
It is. A nation that can't secure its borders will soon no longer be a nation. That's what Reagan said.
We got a lot of people in America that are not really trying to keep America strong. They just assumed everybody was on welfare or unemployment or some kind of welfare.
It's true. That's one of the things that we could do to help secure. One of the problems we have is that we have made it so attractive to come to the United States. If we were to decrease the amount of welfare, it would decrease the amount of people wanting to come thinking they can get.
Right.
The left loves to use this idea of the Statue of Liberty, saying to the immigrants, the poor, the hungry, come to us. But you have to remember, when the Statue of Liberty was made, there was no welfare state. And those who immigrated legally through Ellis Island, through that process, came and knew they would have to work because no one's going to give. They had to contribute. Nowadays, you got people wanting to get without actually contributing.
Terrible. Now, here is a book, we've talked about it before, called The Killing of Uncle Sam by Rodney Howard Brown. And it kind of confirms that there are people in the United States that want a one world government, and they don't want prosperity necessarily. They want more and more immigrants coming in here, even though we don't need them or want them necessarily, because there's a limited amount of jobs, and all these people coming in take up the few jobs that are here, and then there's not enough jobs for everybody else. So it seems to me that some immigrants are good, but you can overdo it.
Well, there's two different ways to make something come together. You can either freeze something together or you can melt something together. And right now we got a lot of people coming into the United States who want to be here, but they just want to be stuck to us but remain their own thing, like frozen together. It used to be the melting pot, where people would come from whatever the old country was for them, and they didn't say, I want to be an Italian American, an Irish American, or whatever. They said, we want to be Americans. Nowadays, the idea, and they would melt together. It's no longer the melting pot. It's become frozen and therefore fractured, because when something's frozen together and you hit it with pressure, it fractures apart. And that's a perfect example of what we're seeing, a lot of pressure through economic, social means, and it's making it shatter apart to different things. We need to meld, and the need for unity, I think, is one of the greatest needs of our day.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you say, they want to establish Sharia law, go together and make their own city.
Yeah, their own separate things instead of one country, one law, one people. And that's what it's supposed to be in our very Pledge of Allegiance. It talks about one nation, indivisible. But right now, the left is pushing this idea of diversity. And what is the root word of diversity? Division, to divide. And that's how they can divide the country against itself and then be able to take over and to get more control.
I just got some videos from Zimbabwe, or the old Rhodesia. The communists are taking that over and murdering people wholesale over there. And they say, when we get through with South Africa and Rhodesia, then we're going to come into America.
Well, they've already started with the socialism, communism push very hard. Hopefully, we have enough common sense people that'll continue to push back against that.
We'd like everybody to come to this Support the Wall meeting. It's coming up this coming Monday, which is the 21st. We want everybody, as much as possible, to be there. and it's going to be at Bardstown Road and Hurstbourne Parkway, right there in front of Wendy's. We'd like as many people to be there. Now, we'll have these signs like this one that says build a wall.
I've got a solution to the illegals voting. Stop that voting. Do you know what it is? Take a fire code, the registered voter's address, their zip code, and the first 4 digits of the social security number. Okay, if they have a tax ID number of a non-citizen, the first digit will be a 9, and the 4th digit will be a 7 or an 8, and that would identify a non-citizen. They can't vote. You scan everything on the barcode, the illegal can't vote. Only those with a social security number can vote. Citizens.
We'll be able to give everybody, or at least lend it to you. And we'd like everybody to bring an American flag. And here's another one that says, honk for the wall.
Two things that'll drive the liberals nuts: an American flag and supporting the wall.
If you listen real carefully, you could hear some honking on that film.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people that were there and honking. So we like to get a lot more folks out there this coming Monday, the 21st, 4:30 p.m., so that we can be there for the rush hour. There's a lot of people that go through that part of the city from coming in Bardstown Road or going out of Bardstown Road and Hurstbourne Parkway. So we'd like everybody that could to show up, bring an American flag. I've got a couple of American flags that are big, and I'm going to bring, I think I got 3 of them. And we'd like everybody to bring an American flag, whatever the size. The bigger the better, but even if you just got the little ones, that'll be good. So it's something that we can all do. It's important because if we leave it wide open, there are more and more terrorists, more and more drugs coming in there. It's just a lot of drugs. The more drugs, the cheaper they are, and the more plentiful they are for people to take and use them. So we don't need more drug addicts. We don't need more terrorists. We just need people, like you said, that's going to contribute to the country.
And I have no problem with immigration, but legal immigration. Every illegal immigrant has, first of all, broken the law and is really insulting to everybody who did it legally, went through the process. I'm not anti-immigration, I'm anti-invasion. And often the left likes to change the terms. They like to use the word an immigrant, or no, they're not really immigrating, that's an invasion, or a refugee. A refugee is someone who has been driven out of their land and is prohibited from returning. That's not the groups that are coming across the border here. So that's what we need to get to, is legal immigration.
Absolutely.
And I bet if we had 5,000 or so people who wanted to come into the country and vote for Trump, the liberals would be all about building a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be a very different story.
Absolutely. This book tells the killing of Uncle Sam, tells about how these wealthy bankers went to the newspaper and said, look, we'll give you $100 a week, but we want you to write the stories the way we want them. That's quite an interesting part of this book. So the media has their own agenda. George Soros has his own agenda, and they want to do things their way. They're not interested in one nation under God. They want to have Sharia law.
Divide the nation and get rid of God.
That's right. Exactly. So it's a real challenge, and we need everyone to get out this coming Monday at 4:30 on Bardstown Road, Hurstbourne Parkway, and we'll have some signs like this, and we need everybody out there. Anybody can hold a sign. The more we have, the better, more impact we're going to have. So we'd like you to bring a friend and tell everybody at church this weekend that there's going to be a build-a-wall rally out in front of the Wendy's restaurant there. Here's another sign, build a wall.
It'd be very good for churches to do. I mean, there's a biblical principle that's really at stake. When you look in the book of Nehemiah in chapter number 2, Nehemiah, the first thing he did, he said, let us rise up and build the wall to protect the city from those who would come in, would harm the people or take the goods of the city. And it was the wicked crowd who, first of all, was greatly offended. If you read chapter 4, verse 1, it says that they were very angry and that they had great indignation and that they mocked the efforts to do it. Well, that's the very thing we're seeing nowadays. Those who want to build the wall to secure the people and the goods, first of all, the other crowd is very angry, they're very offended, and they're making fun of it. Same argument between the righteous and the ungodly. It's been from day number 1.
Numbers are important. We need everybody that's listening to the program today to come on out this coming Monday, the 21st, get a sign and an American flag, and we just have a pro-America rally, which was just what we need. It seems to me that there are people in America that are against America. They don't want America to be great again. They want America to be poor.
If the government can provide you everything, the government can take everything away.
Absolutely.
And they're trying to increase that and really want the United States just to be a subdivision answerable to the UN. If you read your Bible, it says there's going to be a great one world government, and the person who's the head of that is the Antichrist. The more pushes for the one world government, it's so unbiblical, pushing back against that at every single opportunity. I would plead with every Christian to be a part of that. We think about this. On 9/11, how many Americans died at the hands of some illegal invaders that were citizens? Do you realize that there have been 63,000 murders in the United States since 9/11 committed by illegal invaders? And every single one of those was 100% preventable.
The angel mothers are speaking up for their children that were murdered by these illegal people. And some of them have already been taken out of the country more than once, and they keep coming back in. It's hard to keep people out unless you have a wall and you let people in that you want to come in.
Well, you talk about to keep people out. If you lock your doors at night, then you are for building the wall. Because what does a locked door do? It keeps people who would come into your home illegally, that would pose a danger to your family or to your possessions, from being able to do that. Whether you lock the door or not, that keeps the heat in. But locking it, that's saying, hey, I'm building a barrier, a wall. That's all that we want to do is build a wall to secure our people. I've heard some of the left say, well, this would be like the Berlin Wall that the Soviets, communists built in Berlin. That's, again, twisting the situation. A wall can serve two functions. It can serve to keep people in, or it can serve to keep people out. The communist wall in Berlin served to keep the people in, because I saw a lot of people trying to run through barbed wire to escape socialism. I didn't see anybody trying to get into it. And so this wall is like the wall between you and the tigers at the zoo. This is a wall to keep me safe, not to keep me in. America doesn't have a problem with people trying to go out and see other things.
Someone said that Nancy Pelosi has a big wall around her house.
Very true.
That's to keep her safe, but she doesn't want a wall around America to keep the rest of us safe. So some people are sending bricks to Nancy Pelosi.
That'd be great. Maybe she can build a runway with it.
So it's a lot of hypocrisy there. A fence is just something to protect the people so that all these drugs don't come in. Terrorists and all the problems. It's not like you're trying to keep everybody out, but you're going to take the people in that are good for the country and not let the things in that are bad, like you say, a locked door.
If you want to travel on an airplane, you have to go through incredibly intense searches and almost background checks. And yet they want to say open borders, no border patrol, and you can bring anything and who knows what into the country. It's absolutely insane when we think about the new governor of California, who's just as liberal as they come. He wants to get rid of the border and get rid of the border patrol. He also wants to give free health insurance to the illegal invaders. And in the same speech, the same first week in office, he said he also wants to fine or to tax those, because that's all that fine is, it's just a tax, citizens who are underinsured. So in one breath, he says, if you're a citizen and you don't have health insurance, I want to fine you. But if you're illegal and don't have it, I want to give it to you for free.
Yeah, brother. That's crazy. This lady said that she wanted to build a fence around California to keep those people.
I have heard of some stirrings that those in Northern California would like actually to separate and have like a Northern and a Southern, even three parts, because they don't agree with a lot of the liberal lunacy of Southern California. I'm not sure where that initiative is at right now, but I have heard in the last few years a lot of people talking about that.
Well, it's a real problem, and we want everybody to come to Bardstown Road at Hurstbourne Parkway this coming Monday, the 21st of January, and hold these signs, build the wall, so that we can protect our country. This book is really good at explaining that there are people in America today who are against America. They don't want America to be successful. They don't want a lot of jobs. They just want really America to fail.
Under the Trump administration, the economy is now doing better than it's done in 50 years, and the number of jobs are more than it's been since the 1960s. Gas prices are lower than they've been for the last decade or more. Now $5 is gas money again, and it's not been that way since the early 2000s. And what gets me when we're talking about the left and the wall and them wanting to make America, to change America, on one hand, you have the left complaining that there's been foreign influence into our elections. At the same time, they want to allow a bunch of foreigners to come in
and vote,
to be able to vote. That's trying to speak with forked tongue, as they say.
Absolutely.
And the group who says they don't want any border is the same group that says they don't want any voter ID laws either. I think the reason is because if you're actually an American and having to pay for all this stuff, they're not getting enough of them to vote for them anymore. And so they've got to be able to get some new people on the ropes.
Well, that's really what it boils down to. It's a lot of hypocrisy. We need that wall. We don't want more and more drugs coming in. Like when I was growing up, there weren't any drugs in schools. Now they say 50% of the seniors in high school have been experimenting with drugs and things like that. And it's just a lot of problems, and they want more and more of that, more and more drugs coming in. They say most of the drugs coming into America are coming in through the Mexican border. So it's just a bad situation.
One would almost think that those who are fighting against it might have something to gain through all of this. Just a random thought. And if you think about it, as far as walls go, I've heard a preacher say this before. If you read the Bible, heaven has a wall around it. Hell does not.
That's good. That's good.
And we've had those complaining, well, we can't afford the $5 billion to build the wall. Well, if we can't afford that, then I don't think we should be able to afford any foreign aid either.
Amazing. I was watching a movie last night down on the border, and if there's a little barbed wire, maybe one strand, oh, well, that's all you need. But really, people are walking in. They say there's enough room for 2 pickup trucks full of drugs to go side by side through the holes in the wall. It's just not a good thing.
Always cover on a windy corner. Go down to 4th and Broadway. That's the other place I found.
I believe you.
It's time that we protect our country, protect our people, and stop all the drugs coming in and the criminal unit. It's just not a good thing. And if we don't stand up and say something, we're going to have problems.
We'll have big problems. I think about this. Nancy Pelosi and the other Democratic leaders that continue to say shut down the government. And so by doing that, you actually have tens of thousands of American citizens who are the non-essential government employees who are then not going to work. And so every time they're doing this, that now, however, just yesterday, the welfare checks came out, and you had more than 250,000 of those, and there's more than 250,000 illegal aliens on that, and they all got paid yesterday.
Oh,
and yet Nancy Pelosi, every time she says, I'm not going to negotiate, she's saying, I'm going to keep Americans from working, hundreds of thousands, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and send out the welfare checks.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
Not at all. But I found that the government and making sense don't always go together.
Yeah, that's right. Now, if you, Brother Watts, I like these little brochures you gave me, medical marijuana cutting through the smoke. I think that this is a problem to legalize marijuana. We've already got too much marijuana and drugs in our country. Would you like to say a word about this?
Yes, this is a big push that continues to be pushed every year in Kentucky. As we say, we need to have medical marijuana. Now, the person who's supporting this bill, sponsoring it, is a guy by the name of Senator Dan Sine from here in Louisville. And he has said publicly and repeatedly that his ultimate goal is to have full legalization, recreational use. And the way they're going to do that is say, well, we'll do medical first. If it was really good, you would think the medical community would be the one advocating for it. I've been up there 10 years, and I go to all of these meetings. And I've seen zero medical institutions coming and saying, this is actually a good medicine. What I do see is those with zero medical training or experience saying that it would be good as a medicine. If you would like to get one of our free pamphlets on medical marijuana cutting through the smoke, you can just contact me and I will send it to you for free. You can go to our website, godandcountryministry.com, and you'll see we have a documentary about this on the front page. And if you go to the Contact Us, we will send you this pamphlet, and we cite all of the sources. The U.S. Centers of Disease Control saying how this actually causes cancer. Another medical institution, the American Thoracic Foundation, saying that there's 30 cancer-causing agents in marijuana. Why would we wage a war against tobacco for this and then at the same time say the marijuana is good for you? They say, well, it'll be good for cancer patients. It actually feeds the cancer that they're fighting. It's all kinds of problems. Saw an article just come out from Psychology Today talking about there's a huge increase in states with medical marijuana of getting cannabis psychosis. And they're linking that to all kinds of problems. And some people say it's good for our veterans. They have PTSD. I am a veteran. I am a combat veteran of the Iraq War. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, anybody who smokes that, you don't actually get any counseling from being high. And at the end of your 2 or 3 hour high, you have all the problems that you had before, except now you run the risk of becoming addicted to that stuff. Because according to the American Medical Association, it has up to a 25% addiction rate. So the group that says it doesn't, I'd like to know where they got their medical degree from. Because again, we have here in the pamphlet, you'll see the American Heart Association, Lung Association, Cancer Association, Medical Association, among many others, have all done their research, and in one resounding voice, they say the detriments far outweigh the benefits.
Absolutely. I was at a medical meeting, well, it's been a couple of months ago, and they had a policeman that gave the presentation, and he says that marijuana is a gateway drug, that if you start with marijuana, or say start with alcohol and smoking, and then you go into marijuana, then you go into opioids, and finally you get into IV heroin, which is very dangerous. And all of that comes after you get started on marijuana.
That's true. When you want to think about it is the gateway drug that leads to others. It's the same old tricks that's been before. I'm sure our listeners have probably heard of Oxycontin that came with that. Did you know that John Stewart, a man by the name of John Stewart, was the head of the pharmaceutical company behind the Oxycontin crisis? He is now the head of a medical marijuana company in Canada. Same old tricks and same people who are pushing it.
Well, Brother Lee Watts, appreciate you being on the program. We're running out of time again. God bless you, and try to come this Monday, the 21st, at Bardstown Road and Hurstbourne Parkway, and we'll try to promote building the wall and protecting America. God bless you, and tune in again next week for the rest of the news.
Hi, I'm Dr. Frank Simon. I'm an allergist and family doctor, board certified in both allergy and internal medicine. I specialize in allergy, headaches, sinus, hives, cough, asthma, hypertension, and diabetes. We're located at 1404 Browns Lane near Norton Suburban Hospital. Our phone number is 895-5088. We can see you tomorrow.
Good. Tell you one thing. This, as long as it's on, it's broadcasting.
Okay.
So we'll wait for Zach to come over. What do you want? This? Oh, good. You got it. So we're here talking, and the whole thing goes out over you, Facebook.
Oh, well, amen. That's great. I'll send you a little something for all the details. But if you, for the next few weeks, could promote Christians at the Capitol Day this year.
Oh, you
I'd
know, I
really
should have
appreciate
said something about that.
I thought about it, but I thought during wasn't probably a good time to bring that up. But I'll email Cynthia or something, all the details.
Oh, yeah.
So if you could mention that.
When is it going to be?
February 8th. From 11
Okay.
to, we got about 3 weeks. Well, actually about a month. So yeah, if you could help promote that, and of course,
I got that in here.
enjoy the day. I would appreciate that.
That would be great.
We're having to do it a little different this year. They've closed off the tunnel to the public, and so we're going to have to enter right into the annex building. People go in right at the annex, and we'll be in all the committee rooms on the first floor.
Christians at the Capitol all day, Lee Watts, 8. Now, what time are we supposed to be there?
11 to 2. We actually get started at 11:15, but people can plan on 11.
Great.
Well, thank you for having me out, Dr. Simon. I appreciate it.
I'm a veteran, very proud to have done my time for my country, and I'll have to tell you that it's heartbreaking to know that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi would rather take criminals and derelicts from other countries and bring them in here, and they take the VA assistance away from the veterans so that they can spend money on these foreigners. And she can tell me how she can add 2 and 2 together and get that. I'd love to know how.
My name is Matt Singleton. I'm here with a local wall protest. We had a good time. We had a lot of cars honking. They're still honking right now. And I was really glad I got to talk to some of the reporters. One thing I made a point to them is the fact that this is not only something that protects America, and there's a lot of lives that are at stake right now with the opioid crisis and everything else going on, but also the fact that it protects a lot of people on the other side of the border. Right now, a lot of the Mexican drug cartels buy up all our guns and they take them down. They just shoot up the Mexican people. They're really hurting the people down there, and then they get driven to come back up here. Meanwhile, they also sell them hopes and dreams to come up here, and they have a dangerous journey, and sometimes they die.
May God bless America in Jesus' name. I'd like for everybody in the world to get a chance to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, that you might have their sins forgiven and a home in heaven. America is supposed to be Christian, and I'm trying to make it that way. And we want it that way. We want people to get a chance to hear the gospel.